So we're going to work on dolphin pose really quickly. Dolphin pose is a great prep pose for a lot of inversions. It's also a really great shoulder opener, but it's quite often done with poor alignment and without a focal point that will end up leading to the final inversions that you're kind of aiming towards. So we're going to look at a bunch of different ways to modify it. So you're going to start on all fours just to begin with, and then if you have tight shoulders or you know it's going to potentially be difficult for you to keep your arms parallel with one another, you're going to interlace your fingers. So come down onto your forearms from here. So you can either interlace your fingers, stacking your wrist bones over top of one another and positioning your elbows under your shoulders, or position your elbows under your shoulders and have your arms parallel with one another, right? And if you're doing that, the inner hand needs to stay down. Right, now you're going to walk out into forearm plank to start with. Okay, so key things. First, forearms pressing down inner and outer elbow. If your hands are apart, inner hand pressing. Now you hold some work of your abdomen here because you have to in forearm plank. But wrap your outer arms back so you feel your collarbones broaden and your shoulders pull away from your ears. It's a sense of pushing your upper back through, a little back bend in your upper back. And then let your gaze be forward at your fingertips. And now this shape you've created in your upper spine, you're going to hold that slowly without letting your gaze change positions. You're going to start to walk your toes in towards your elbows like you would for down dog. Only walk them about half of the way in right now. Once you have them half of the way in, bend your knees some. Now push your forearms, the inner hand if your hands are apart. Wrap your outer arms back, squeeze your arm bones together. Right, now push your upper back through towards your inner thighs, and now let your neck relax and look back between your legs. Right, now the shape that you've created here in your spine, that's what you want to maintain. So start to press your legs a little bit straighter. And if that's going to round your upper back or lower back, stay with a bend in your knees. Right, if your legs go all the way straight, you're going to get them all the way straight and see if you can hold the shape of your spine and walk your toes in any amount closer towards your elbows. Right? And then once you have that, I'm just going to keep pressing the floor down, outer arms wrapping towards the sides of your mat or back towards your feet. Hug your arms together, press your hips up and back, press your thighs back if your knees are straight, and draw your heels down. Good. And then from here, you're just going to drop back down into child's pose. Right, so step one, that's dolphin pose without raising a leg, dolphin pose without anything else. So oftentimes you'll also hear, come into dolphin pose, and you can use that as your inversion practice. Well, if you've got the shape going on, you have to be able to lift a leg up in order to be able to eventually kick up into pincha or headstand. So set up into forearm plank again, and we'll do the exact same thing. Walk your feet out, sternum through, you get that sense of width across your chest, little support from your belly, arms anchored, and then start to walk your feet in. Press your upper back through, let your neck relax at the last moment. Right, Janice is going to stay here. She's pretty much in headstand prep. So she's just going to work on pressing her upper back through, lifting her sit bones away from her elbows. Crystal's actually going to go on. So if you are working on kicking up, you're going to look forward, shift forward until your shoulders are a little beyond your wrists. Or elbows, sorry. And then lift from your inner right thigh to lift the leg up just a little bit higher than hip height. Right? And then press the floor down, lift your inner right thigh, maybe kick that leg a little bit higher, and then lower your right leg down, shift your weight back, look back. And then do the same thing. Look forward, shift forward, lift your left leg from the inner thigh. Press the floor down, outer arms wrap in and hug together. You can see the same shape is happening in her spine, and then maybe lift your left leg a little bit higher. And then lower it all the way down and drop yourself down, child's pose. Right, so in essence, it's just a more complicated or bigger shoulder opener than down dog is, but it's that same length in your spine that you have in down dog that you want to achieve here. So bend your knees, come up onto your toes, don't walk your feet in quite so close. Once you've opened your shoulders enough to get yourself into what would be a little bit of a tight down dog position, then you start working on lifting a leg, eventually all the way up. But there you go, dolphin pose.